Nintendo makes legendary games, right? Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, Metroid, they're all great. Pure classics. But every now and then they drop a game that makes you ask, wait, what were they thinking? Today we're counting down the absolute worst game in every major Nintendo franchise. These aren't just the weakest entries, they're the kinds of games that make you question reality. Let's begin.
Nice of the princess to invite us over for a picnic, eh, Luigi? I hope she made lots of spaghetti.
If you've never heard of Super Mario Hotel, congratulations, you've led a good life. Released in 1994 for the Philips CDI, this game was the product of a bizarre licensing deal between Nintendo and Philips. Instead of running through iconic levels, you go around closing doors. That's pretty much all the gameplay is closing doors. But the real horror? The cutscenes, animated like a 90s school project and voiced like a fever dream. They become meme legends. The game feels like it's been made by people who have never played a Mario game, or possibly just seen it from across the street. It's an absolute train wreck, and it's not even a good one.
Enough. My ship sails in the morning. I wonder what's for dinner.
Oh boy! I'm so hungry, I could eat an Octorok!
Yes, we have another CDI catastrophe. The Wand of Gamelon. The Wand of Gamelon was part of the same licensing mess, and it did something a little bit different. It used Zelda as the main protagonist. This could have been groundbreaking, but instead it was groundbreaking just because of how big of a mess it was. The side-scrolling gameplay is clunky, hit detection is laughable, the map makes no sense, but again, the cutscenes steal the show. It's the best part of the game. I've used them in a couple of my videos, they're hilarious. Zelda's dead-eyed stare and awkward one-liners make it feel like you're trapped in a parody. It's one of those games that live in infamy not because it's obscure, but because of how ridiculous it is.
Ridley, bitch. Leave her alone!
This one actually really hurts. I mean, you guys know how big of a Metroid fan I am, and Metroid Other M had so much potential. A 3D Metroid game with Team Ninja behind it could have been amazing. Instead, it took everything that fans loved about Samus and threw it out the airlock. Samus Aran, once a silent badass, is now reduced to emotional monologues and excessive flashbacks. The gameplay forces you to switch between third-person and first-person modes constantly, interrupting any sense of flow. But the worst part is Samus refusing to fight until she's given permission, even in life-threatening situations. It undermines everything that we know about her character. The combat isn't bad, but the writing just drags the entire game down. Mario Kart Tour is the franchise's foray into mobile gaming, and it shows. It strips down the chaotic fun of Mario Kart and replaces it with microtransactions, timers, and tilt controls. Instead of racing your friends, you're racing bots that pretend to be people. Unlocking characters involves gacha mechanics, which means you might spend real money and still not get Waluigi. Tracks are recycled endlessly, and the controls, let's just say that drifting with your thumb is not peak racing. The game makes money, sure, but it doesn't capture what makes Mario Kart great. The local chaos, the competitive joy, the shell-induced rage.
Red shell. Ha!
It's Mario Kart but with the heart removed. This game was originally designed for the GameCube with the DK bongos, but when it was moved to the Wii, the bongos were scrapped in lieu of motion controls. That's a big mistake. Barrel Blast is a racing game where you move by shaking the Wii remote and nunchuck like a lunatic. It gets pretty old fast. There's no sense of speed, the tracks are bland, the character animations are stiff, and it feels half-baked. The DK universe deserves better. This feels like a rhythm game that forgot the rhythm part. Even I, someone who thinks that Donkey Kong 64 is the pinnacle of gaming, pretends that this one doesn't exist. I was so tempted to put Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon... what? I was so tempted to put Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet in this position, but I decided not to because with the free upgrade on Switch 2, it wouldn't seem fair. Even though putting the game behind a $400 paywall, or here in Canada, a $650 paywall, also doesn't seem fair. Anyway, Pokemon Dash tried something different. Make Pikachu race using the stylus. Sounds like fun? It's not. You just furiously swipe the screen while Pikachu follows a track that barely responds. It quickly devolves into hand cramps and repetitive gameplay. There's no strategy, no depth, and it looks like a tech demo rather than a finished game. The environments are boring, the music is forgettable, and once the gimmick wears off, there's nothing left. Nintendo's made a lot of great Pokemon spin-off games. This isn't one of them. Kirby the character deserves more love, but Battle Royale didn't help. It was marketed as a brawler, but it ended up being a collection of minigames with a paper-thin story and really repetitive gameplay. The game looks good, but the gameplay loop is boring. Battles feel sluggish, the modes get old fast, and playing against AI is about as exciting as watching Waddle Dee nap, lacking the polish of a mainline title more akin to Kirby Superstar or Forgotten Land. Now, this game was supposed to be a return to form. Instead, it was a blatant downgrade. Yoshi's New Island recycles old gameplay with even worse level design, awkward pacing, and a bizarre art style that looks like it was drawn with leftover crayons. The soundtrack is infamous for its kazoo-heavy noise that loops endlessly. Giant egg mechanics are clunky, bosses are forgettable, and feels more like a mobile game than a sequel to an SNES classic. Yoshi fans wanted nostalgia, they got noise and disappointment.
My father was hired by General Pepper of the Cornerian Army to investigate strange activities on planet Venom. He never returned.
Star Fox Zero could have been great. The graphics were clean, the music was solid, but then they added gamepad gimmicks, which I usually love, but in this case I believe it tanked the whole thing. You fly using the TV screen but aim with the gamepad, so you're constantly looking down, then up, then down again. It's disorienting and kills immersion. Worst of all, there's no way to turn it off. Nintendo forced the controls on everyone. The game tries to recreate Star Fox 64, but ends up reminding you how sometimes innovation can definitely backfire. Now this one isn't terrible, it's just disappointing. Like you! GP Legend came after the glorious chaos of F-Zero GX, but on Game Boy Advance. Everything feels flat, the sense of speed is gone, the visuals are bland, the controls are stiff. It tries to mimic Mode 7 style racing, but it's nowhere near as exciting. And while the anime tie-in is a fun idea, it doesn't save the gameplay. Fans of Captain Falcon were left waiting for a true console sequel that never came. Still waiting. If this was your first F-Zero, you'll probably never play another one. Well, there you have it. The weakest link in every single Nintendo franchise. Did we miss one? Did we roast your favorite guilty pleasure? Let me know in the comments section down below how bad I'm doing my job. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. Don't forget to subscribe for more Nintendo deep dives, weird spin-offs, and a lot of what were they thinking moments. Thanks again, guys. I already said that. Have a good one. No, that's not right. If you guys liked that video and you want to keep the fun going, we got more videos. Click the video here. I didn't pick it, YouTube did. They think you're going to like this one. I tend to agree. See you guys in the next one.